lovely to have both of you, and it's nice to have two people actually together.
Right?
We decided to do it.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I like it.
Someone in real life.
Like touch, to touch.
Yes. Human interaction right now is very appreciated, definitely. Well, congratulations with 12-hour shift. Thank you for bringing it for us that we need some entertainment soon, October 2nd. I have you, Brea, you're the writer, director of the film. And I have you, Nurse Karen.
Nikea Gamby-Turner, thank you.
And I have to say, now after watching 12-hour shift, next time I go to the doctor, the hospital, I'm going to look at nurses a little different. Like, they go through all sorts of unexpected scenarios.
Yeah, you know what's so weird? I never thought this in a million years, I think none of us did, that COVID would happen at all. But then all of a sudden we're all really aware of our first responders, and this movie we were talking about that a little bit before all this happened.
Yeah, it's like to have this happen, and then all the organ stuff and then all the organ stuff happened. It's like I wonder what's actually really going on in the hospitals these days.
Yeah, not only that, but I guess nurses never know what new situations they're going to be put on, not only through the patients, but also the relatives, the family. I mean,
well, the hours, 12-hour shift, then to do a double 12-hour shift, you're up 24 hours. How do you, and then I can imagine with the people that have COVID and, ICU workers, they're used to those hours, but I can't imagine that you have the energy or the wherewithal to do anything once you're done with your day. So I commend, even just playing a nurse and the stuff that they have to do, and the stuff that you have to learn just playing a nurse is, to do it right and to have it accurate, and, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. So I commend all of those, thank you for your service, you guys, because I know I can't deal with most people on the way, and sick are not easy. I already, I know. So
yeah.
Thank you, y'all.
No, we are very thankful. So let me pick your brain a little bit for you as the writer. You're also an actress. This is not your first rodeo writing or directing. So what got you to inspired on this story when it comes to more on the medical field? And it's not a topic. Yeah, in this case, the film displays it as like a comedy, but the reality is that there is organ trafficking out there.
There is organ trafficking. And when I was growing up, there was a nurse from Texas that wasn't in organ trafficking, but was sort of what was killing her patients. And that kind of always stuck with me. And she was doing it with bleach through dialysis machines, which plays a part in the movie. So that kind of made its way into the movie. But weirdly, when I was writing this, I was spending a lot of time in hospitals with my dad. And I was kind of just watching what the nurses go through all day, every day, and how much I relied on them, and just like all the crap they had to deal with all day. So look, when I write, I am a comedic writer. Everything I do has comedy in it, whether or not I mean it to. And this obviously is a dark comedy, but the realism of the situation is there. The nurses and what they're dealing with is there, and the organ stuff is played for humor, but it is a thing that has happened. It happened weirdly while we were shooting a movie. There was a story that came out about some organ trafficking.
Mm-hmm. It did. It was in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Now, when it comes to lunch boxes, I am going to see them so much differently. That's one of the things where I'm like, now I'm going to be curious.
And funny enough, they carry all organs, and especially transplant organs, in a cooler, in one of those igloo coolers. So it's just, every time you walk around, I'm like,
there is some stuff that definitely stretches reality, but that one is one. They carry them in coolers when they bring them around.
Actually, in real life, yeah. And us.
Yes. And so let's talk about the cast. You had the lady right here next to you. Great cast. You had David. You even had a wrestler in there. Chloe, how did you gather when it came to directing and casting?
Well, David Arquette was on from the beginning. He is a producer on the movie, and from the very start, he was on board, and it was sort of like trying to figure out where he fit into the cast. And then his wife, Christina, is a producer as well. And early on, she was like, do you want a wrestler in this movie? And I was like, yeah. And I don't know that much about wrestling. Don't tell anybody.
I do.
And they were like, who do you like? And I was like, Mick Foley? Because I that's one I could name and thought would be really cool to have. And he's been around since I knew about wrestling, which was like, you know, the 90s, 80s?
80s, 90s, like, you know.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute. So there's that. And then a lot of the cast I knew I had worked with previously. We kind of stacked a lot of the supporting cast as people that I worked with on various projects, or my producers have worked with on various projects. And then Nikea and Chloe actually auditioned. And we met that way, and their audition takes were so good. Sorry, getting texts. We're not gonna be able to do one of these without getting a text or like something happening. So it was just kind of finding people that fit into this world, because the world is so weird and so broad, and they needed to be funny but be able to ground it at the same time. So finding people who could combine the comedy and got the dark humor of it, but also could play these realistic moments as well was sort of the challenge.
Now that you mentioned that, there was a quote where Mandy says, I have too much faith in humanity. She says to Nurse Karen by Angela. I mean, and then that's funny how that was put in there, but then yet the story.
Yeah. I do think Mandy has, I think in some ways, like, and this is sort of me, where I feel like I am always disappointed by people, like individuals, but I do have like a broad faith in humanity. Like, I think at the end of the day, history moves in the direction that it should, and humanity as a whole, like, we can come up together. It's hard to hold on to that faith in humanity right now, for sure. Yeah. But I do think, like, I see moments of like brightness and kind of hold on to that. Yeah. And whether or not I'm wrong to have faith in humanity, I don't think know.
You are. I think for as much as it can be disappointing, I think that most people really surprise you and actually really have good hearts. So even with Karen and Mandy, that's one of my favorite scenes too, us walking down the hall, because we're too different. We're completely different people, and we're doing it for completely different reasons. But we do have a friendship. We're just very honest and upfront with each other. And I do care what happens to her, but also don't get me in trouble. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna help. We've been working together for years. I trust her to the degree of, we've been doing this together for a while, and I know what you're doing, but we all have to do what we have to do. And then, you know, for her to bring someone else in who is just as wildly as crazy as she, you know, she knows who her cousin is, right? She can't not know who her cousin is. But we all have a need, and we all want to make this extra money, or we have something that we need to do in order for all of this to work out for us. So when we have that moment in the hallway, and I tell her that's what I like about her, is because I have that too. You know, I'm helping you, and even though it's the most crazy situation, yes, and we're selling organs and stuff, you help me, I help you, we help each other, we're in this together, no matter how insane it is.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm not going to shoot you because I don't want to split the money with you. We're friends, so right. I'm going to split the money with you.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny. One of the funniest scenes was the one where you have the guy dancing, listening to music on a Discman. Mm-hmm. Discman, right? Yeah.
Have you ever
I know.
No, because Walkman. I was thinking Walkman, but I'm like, no, it was a disc. It was a Discman.
Yeah.
I'm 39. I was in that time where you had those Discmans in the car. You had to get that cassette with the cable to be able to play it.
The CD changer in the trunk.
Yeah, CD changer.
Yes, yeah. See, yeah.
But you never changed them because it was like too much trouble, so it's always the same 6 CDs.
Yeah.
Yes. So how did you come up with that idea? I mean, that was hilarious.
You know what's crazy about that scene? So we actually had a bit of a like scheduling problem. That character is played by Tommy Hobson. Chloe is it plays Regina, and then David is also in that same shot because David is getting up and leaving. So it goes like Chloe, Tommy, David. We actually shot that across 3 different days. Like I knew I needed to connect these 3 people to each other. Or maybe we shot it across 2 different days, but David wasn't even there, but I needed to show that he was kind of escaping and all this stuff was happening around the same time. So I needed like an excuse to get down the hallway and follow them. But we were losing David, we were losing Tommy. It was just very complicated. And we kind of like, that was not in the script. It was that I knew Tommy danced well because Tommy was on a kid's TV show where he sang and danced. And so I was like, please dance in this movie.
Can we mention the Fresh Beat Band?
Yeah, he was in the Fresh Beat Band, along with Sarah Perry, who's also in it. And so we just were like, I was like, this would be a cool way for us to get down the hallway and show that all this is happening at the same time, because we needed a way to physically connect those 2 moments. And early on, I gave everyone kind of like a little prop, like all the supporting characters had little props, and his was that Discman, not Discman.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, what is he listening to all the time? And wouldn't it be funny if we actually got to hear it?
I loved it. And you also mentioned that the Beanie Babies. That was another one from, back then.
Totally
So
90s.
Yeah. And just to finalize, Jefferson's, is it just me, but did he seem like the most normal one, but yet you would think he was not the most normal one, since he was like, a convict, he was in handcuffs, but out of everybody, and that was kind of like, oh.
Yeah, he's definitely the one who, he's a little bit of the red herring or something. Like he's the one you think is going to be causing a lot of problems, but at the end of the day, it is these nurses that you didn't expect to cause the problems, or the blonde lady who comes in
Chloe
to cause causes all the problems.
Yeah. Regina. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for your time. Congratulations. And Nikea, I have to say, kudos for your blog, Sex in the City with No Titties.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was at a time, I'm a 15-year breast cancer survivor, and I really just needed something to like just explain my feelings, and being because I was 30 years old. Now I'm telling my age. I was 30 years old when I was diagnosed with cancer. So, and I'm single, and I'm still single. I was single, so it was a way for me to kind of cathartically just get through it. And then I think once I did, I was reading, and I was just reading it recently because I might be doing a podcast about kind of something like that. And I revisited some stuff, and I read my last entry, and it was like, I'm kind of losing a little bit of love for this, because I feel like I've moved past all of that. And now I'm able to like just be in life. And so now I'm trying to find a new way to help people kind of move past, surviving cancer is probably the next thing, because people don't tell you, like, when you live, what to do. You're just kind of like, oh, I'm alive now. What is my life like? So yeah, it's been interesting, but so I've been in hospitals and dealt with a lot of nurses. I had a lot of surgeries, so to play a nurse is very near and dear to me, because I know what they go through. And thank you for mentioning my blog. Go look at it. It's so great.
Yes, ladies out there. Well, thank you so much. You guys, congratulations. And the audience will love 12-hour shift.
Bye.
October 2nd. Thank you.
On the next one.
Thank you.
Bye, Nancy.
Bye-bye.